Hello everyone and welcome back to Steins Gate Zero. I'm G, and last time everything was awful, and we learned that Fubuki probably has some form of reading Steiner. As we swapped to, I think the world line was still in the beta attractor field. I'm not 100% sure exactly, but we're back in the beta attractor field as it is, and we're going to see Fubuki. So let's get started. I ended up going over that day. She was at a large general hospital with medical student department, located in Ochanomizu. It was close enough to Akihabara I could walk, and getting there was easy. Since she might get the wrong idea if I went alone, I encouraged Mayuri to come with me. I hoped it would look like I was only coming as an afterthought. But it ended up being a bigger deal than I expected. When they heard that Mayuri was going, Yuki and Kaede decided to come too. Evidently, they'd all been to visit Fubuki several times before, and they knew exactly where she was located. They walked down the halls without hesitation. It was almost 8 when visiting hours ended, so we needed to hurry. As we passed by a nurse's station, there was a minor commotion. A woman in her late 40s wearing a gray jersey was yelling at the doctors and nurses. "Enough of this! When do I get to go home?" "We've told you, only after you've been examined and gotten the treatment you need." "You aren't giving me any kind of treatment, and what was supposed to be a quick exam ended with me stuck here for a month. What am I supposed to do about my job?" "Calm down. Still a lot we don't know about this disease. Without proper examination and treatment, it's dangerous." "Liar! The TV said not to worry because it wasn't that bad." "We've told you before, that's only if you get the appropriate treatment. One of the nurses just told me you were dizzy." "I just felt anemic because dinner was late. I'm just fine. Let me go home." The woman was about ready to grab the doctor by the throat. Several female nurses held her back and dragged her off somewhere with reassuring words. "That scared me." "You think Fubuki's okay?" The girls hurried even faster down the hallway. Fubuki was in a 4-person room at the very end of the hallway. We hesitantly peeked inside. That voice. We could hear moaning coming from beyond the curtains surrounding Fubuki's bed. Mari went pale and hurriedly ripped them open. "Fubuki?" "What?" Fubuki made a strange noise and spun around as we came in. I looked closer and saw that she was sitting on the bed with her legs crossed, watching a show on the LCD TV attached to it. Her eyes were red and swollen with tears, but given the fact that she had a stick of Pocky in her mouth, she was probably just crying over a soap opera. "Huh? Oh, you guys came to see me." Fubuki wiped away her tears and welcomed us with her usual smile. "Oh, you scared me, Ishi. I thought you were crying." "You really scared us." Sorry. Even as she apologized, she tossed another chocolate-coated stick into her mouth. Her hair was tied up, and she was wearing some kind of headgear. At first, I thought it was just that she was too lazy to do her hair, but evidently not. There were cords coming out of the headgear that were attached to a belt around her waist. Were they monitoring her brainwaves? As unobtrusively as possible, I took a look at the other patients around the room. They were all wearing the same headgear. They may have been giving it to all the encephalitis patients. "Sorry to bring everyone over, Fubuki." "Not at all, you're very welcome, and I didn't think Ocarine would come." Fubuki stared at me intently. She'd never done that before, so I started to wonder if there was something on my face. They said you collapsed like I did, so I got worried. How are you doing? "It's fine. I really don't understand why they won't let me leave. Every day they just do exams and there's nothing for me to do. I'm so bored. And you're not allowed to use your phone in the rooms. If I want to send a text, I have to go all the way to the lobby, and they turn off the lights at 9 so I can't watch the late night anime. I really just don't believe this." Her bed was surrounded with portable game consoles, magazines, a miniature DVD player, anything to stave off boredom. And given all the half-empty boxes of snacks, it was hard to believe the disease was as serious as they said on the news. "Are you okay, Ocarine?" "Yeah, I told Mayuri this, but I'm fine." "I see. I'm glad." She seemed truly relieved, but she was still staring at me. "Huh?" And suddenly Kaede started to fidget. Not only that, she blushed and glanced at me, then almost started to cry. She was acting really weird. "Kaede? What's wrong?" Kaede started fidgeting even more when she realized that everyone was looking at her, but she had no choice but to go over and whisper something in Fubuki's ear. Huh?
Fubuki, shh.
The other girls tried to quiet Fubuki down. This was a hospital, and there were other patients in the room. We couldn't make a fuss.
But listen to this, everybody. Miss Kaede Kurashima here suspects me of secretly dating Ocarine.
Now it was our turn to keep from shouting in surprise. Where are you getting that from?
According to Mayuri, you were the one who wanted to come see Fubuki today, right?
That's true. There was another reason, but I couldn't say that.
And Fubuki and Ocarine were staring longingly at one another.
We were not staring longingly at one another.
That's not it.
Fubuki tried to scratch her hair, but the headgear blocked her way, and she gave up.
I had this really realistic dream.
Realistic dream? I was startled. That may have been why I wanted to find out.
It was sometime this evening. I was kind of spacing out. There's just nothing to do around here. And somehow, I don't really remember, but me and Ocarine and Yuki were all taken somewhere in a car by these scary men. I was there too? Yeah.
It was the same. It meant Fubuki had experienced the same things I'd gone through in the other world line. And this evening would have been the same time I was experiencing it. I peeked through the curtains to make sure that none of the hospital staff were around. Sorry guys, but can you leave me alone with Nakase for a bit?
Huh? Eh? No way.
It's not like that. I wasn't really sure how to handle that reaction.
Is this something you don't want Mayushi and everyone else to know about?
It's about her disease.
Okay, I understand.
Mary nodded and went outside the curtains. The other two looked bothered, but they followed her. Nakase, did this dream of yours take place in Okinawa?
Huh? Yeah, that's right. I think it was Okinawa. I think I saw a sign saying so when I was in the car.
Inside the car, there was you, me, and Yuki, and the driver and a short man who was an SDF soldier.
Yeah.
The man's name was Shimoyama. Fubuki suddenly went pale. A dream about being in a car in Okinawa could be written off as a coincidence, but knowing the exact name of the man in that shared dream was a different matter entirely.
How? Why?
The man talked to you about waking dreams and the president of Russia.
That's right.
And then we were taken to a US Army base. There you met up with Mayuri and the others and said goodbye to me. Fubuki was too stunned to speak. There was no room for doubt. My suspicion turned into a certainty. Fubuki had a stronger reading Steiner than most people. I remembered the other world line as a relatively realistic dream.
In the dream, that Shimoyama guy said that you and I both had memories of another world.
Yeah.
Was he right?
Yeah. I hesitated for a moment, but then I gave her a brief explanation of my own reading Steiner ability. The one thing I wanted to make sure she understood was that her dreams weren't caused by an illness. But her reaction wasn't what I expected.
Then there may be others who aren't sick too.
There are?
There's nothing to do, so I talk to the others a lot about the dreams we have, and sometimes it's just amazing how similar they are. There's a kid in elementary school who's in the next room. We became friends. They said that they'd never been to Okinawa, but they had a dream that they were there. Tokyo had burned down and the self-defense forces saved them and took them there.
I see. Oh no. If that was true, then it wasn't just Fubuki. There were other patients who were being kept in the hospital for no reason, who didn't have any kind of disease at all.
I talked to the doctors?
No, I don't think they'd believe you, and if they started to think that your delusions were getting worse.
You're right.
Shouldn't tell the others yet. You don't want there to be a fuss.
Yeah.
And then Yuki poked her head through the curtain.
Wakabe, a nurse is coming. Visiting hours are over for today.
I looked at the clock. It was well past 8.
Sorry for being such a rush, Fubuki. Next time we'll come earlier so we have more time. Aw, Meishi, don't go. Or the nurse will get mad. Let them get mad. Sleep with me tonight.
Fubuki was back to her usual self. She grabbed Mary's hand and held it tight. Kaede chuckled and forced her to let go.
Don't be selfish. We'll come as often as we can. That's not good enough. Come tomorrow and the day after, as soon as school's over. I'm so bored I could die.
Fubuki flailed her arms and legs about. It was a bit too deliberate, if you ask me. Kaede patted her on the head.
Right. Bye-bye.
Mary and Yuki went over to pat her too, and before long she looked like a little puppy in a kettle being petted. He left her behind and exited the room. I was the last to leave, and before I did, I turned around and saw Fubuki staring at us from the bed. Our eyes met, so I nodded a little. It's okay. You're not sick, so don't worry. I don't know if she understood what I meant, but she nodded back. The hospital halls were strangely silent after visiting hours were over. Oh! We have mail!
I want to talk in private. I'll wait for you to contact me.
Something in the short message made me feel very tense. Oh boy! After I said my goodbyes to the others, I contacted Suzuha. She told me to come to the top of the radio building. When I arrived, she was standing silently on the dark roof. There was no trace of a smile on her face. Her eyes shone in the darkness, and as she glared at me, I felt a shiver run down my spine. This was not the Suzuha I was used to. Maybe this was her true self. Whatever she wanted to talk to me about, I was sure I wasn't going to like it.
Sorry to bring you out here like this, Uncle Ocarine.
What'd you want to talk about?
Oh, I'm really not good at talking to people or trying to persuade them, you know?
From the way she stumbled over her words, it was clearly something she didn't want to talk about. Just say it. That's what the old you would have done, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Are you trying to break this to me gently? I see. Thanks.
It's not really like that.
Suzuha got a little annoyed and tried to say something back to me, but ended up swallowing her words. To be honest, it was a bit of a shock at first. You were so different than the Suzuha I know.
You can't help it. When the world line changes, so does the environment you grew up in. And that changes your personality and how you think.
Yeah, I don't think that anymore. Still the Suzuha I know.
No, I really am different. I'm not the Suzuha Amane you know well, Uncle Ocarine.
Suzuha?
I followed you today.
Followed me?
That's right, all the way into the hospital.
What'd you say? Why would you do that? No, I knew the answer without even asking. There was only one reason she would do something like that. You realize that I jumped world lines?
I'd always suspected that your reading Steiner might have activated on Christmas Eve. And not just then, today too. And now I'm sure.
I deliberately avoided telling Suzuha the world line had changed. It was obvious that she would react like this.
Tell me, is this a different world line than it was before?
What will you do with the answer?
Just tell me! There's an order, Rintaro Okabe.
I gulped as I saw her pull a gleaming pistol out from her jacket. It was aimed right between my eyes. This is a joke, right?
I wouldn't do this as a joke.
Felt like Suzuha was trying to revert to who she was when I had first come to the Beta World Line, a woman who put her mission above everything else. She was so desperate it hurt to even look at her. What would happen if she shot me here? I imagined myself lying on the ground in a pool of blood. My mind, the image overlapped with Kurisu's dead body. I closed my eyes and grit my teeth, trying to avoid a flashback. I'd spent the last month trying to escape to Okinawa in the middle of a war, but I still wasn't used to having a gun pointed right at me.
I'll ask you one more time. Did the world line change? Is this a different world than it was before?
Suza's hands were shaking a little as she held the gun. It would have been unimaginable when she'd first come here from the future. Maybe she was ashamed of it because she bit down on her teeth even harder. She must have bit her lip when she did so because a single trail of blood ran down her jaw and dripped onto the ground. I stared at the blood as I answered. Don't worry, we're in the same world line we were before.
You sure?
Yeah, it's true that the world line moved once, but we came back, I think.
Who was responsible? Russia?
I think so.
Which means they finally started experimenting with the time machine.
I nodded.
And that means that there's no time to waste. If they keep experimenting, something will happen that can't be changed. It might close the path to Steins Gate. I'm a fool. I shouldn't have wasted time worrying. I'm done trying to get you to change your mind.
What will you do?
Interokabe, you're going to follow my orders. You're coming back to July 28th with me.
And if I refuse?
I won't let you refuse.
Are you okay with that?
What?
Are you okay with erasing this world line?
Shut up!
There was a horrible ringing in my ears and a fierce pain in my eardrums. A second later, the smell of gunpowder passed by my face. She really shot at me.
Next time it won't be a threat. I'll shoot you.
She was glaring at me as if she was about to cry. We stared at each other in silence. I tried as hard as I could to come up with something to calm her down, but nothing came to me. Nothing I could come up with would get her to change her mind. What should I do? Izaha! Ogreen! What are you doing? Suddenly I heard Daru's voice. I turned around and saw that he'd just come out of the door near the stairs.
Dad, how?
Got a message from Maishi and Amashi. They said you contacted Ocarine. I had a bad feeling, so I decided to look for you. Then I got a message from an unknown sender.
An unknown sender?
They sent me a URL that led to a map of this place. I thought you might be here, so I came right over. Then I heard a gunshot, and it really scared me.
His whole body was covered in sweat. Even as he spoke, large beads were appearing on his forehead. He must have really hurried.
So, Suzuha, what's with that gun?
Oh, Suzuha wasn't actually...
You wouldn't fire a gun if you didn't have a reason. Duh. Come on, Suzuha. Out with it.
Dad, you know what it is.
What's that?
The world line changed. Russia started experimenting with the time machine.
You sure?
That's why I'm doing this. At this rate, it'll be too late to do anything. We won't reach Steins Gate. We won't be able to stop the Third World War. Lots of people will die. Mom will die. They won't be able to stop any of it.
That would be really bad. But still, even if you threaten Ocarine and force him to go back to the past with you, is that really going to work?
Daru's normally easygoing expression had suddenly turned serious.
As I've started to research the time machine and the world lines, I've kind of figured something out. I think Ocarine might be right. It may be impossible to save Makiseshi the normal way.
Now you're saying it too, Dad.
If the rules and causality of the world lines could be changed that easily, Ocarine should have been able to save Mayushi in the Alpha World Line, right?
And what am I supposed to do?
Daru brought up his fist up to his chest.
That's what we're researching, right?
But there's no time.
It's okay. Just leave it to me. I'll figure something out, I promise. We should listen to your dad once in a while.
Daru's voice was strong and kind in a way you'd never imagine he was capable of. He softly took the gun from Suzuha's hands. She didn't resist.
Here, you forgot something that's way more important than a gun. On cold days like today, you should be wearing these.
Daru took something out of his pocket. He pressed it into Suzuha's hands. It was a pair of handmade gloves. It was the present that Yuki had given her at the Christmas party. I remembered it well.
Hey. Hi.
When he gave her the gloves, warm tears started to flow down her face.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
Help me, Dad. Help me. Please.
Suzuha's shoulders shook as the tears poured down. I turned my eyes towards the time machine, a silhouette in the darkness. I decided I'm not getting back in that thing. No matter what Daru said, no matter how Suzuha threatened me, I wasn't going back to the past. I can't look back. The next thing she knew, Suzuha was inside the time machine, wrapped up in a blanket. She must have been crying a lot because she hadn't even noticed that she'd come inside the time machine, or that Rintaro had left. Her dad was next to her. He was also wrapped up in a blanket, and he was looking at her.
Have you calmed down?
What time is it?
She wiped away the tears as she asked.
It's almost a new day.
Sorry to keep you out this late.
It's fine. It's fine. Told you before, you can always count on your dad.
Yeah.
The time machine's hatch was still open, and cold air was pouring in. Each time they spoke, they could see their breath turn white. The machine was still silent. They could use the life support system in the cockpit to keep out the cold, but she didn't want to waste the energy. She rubbed her cheeks with her glove-covered hands. The gloves Yuki gave her were very warm, and her hands were the one part of her that wasn't cold.
You know, I think someday Okarin's going to work with us. No, he's going to be our leader.
Suzuha was a little surprised to see Itaru speaking seriously. Normally all Itaru ever did was screw around.
Future Gadget Lab only exists because of Okarin. He's having a hard time right now, but he'll get over it. And then Kyoma Ho-Win will revive. You know, the name Phoenix isn't just for show. And when that time comes, Okarin will probably get in the time machine himself without needing you to tell him to.
Suzuha realized Itaru was trying to make her feel better. Suddenly, deep in her heart, she felt a little warmer.
Dad, do you realize how embarrassing the things you're saying are?
Yeah, you're right. No way I could say that in front of Okarin.
I'm going to write a letter to Uncle Okarin before tomorrow. If I try to talk to him directly, I'll end up acting weird again. I'll tell him I'm sorry. And I'm going to keep fighting a little longer. So I want him to just think about it. But still, there's really not a lot of time left.
Not a lot of time? Because Russia started their experiments?
You see, the internal battery for the quantum computer that controls the time machine is just about to run out.
Seriously?
I told you I used the machine a lot starting in 1998 in order to look for Kagari. That wasn't part of the original plan. Of course, that meant I had to use the computer that controls the machine more than I had meant to.
And that drained the battery?
Battery's actually closer to running out than the fuel. It'll be hard to make the machine jump the way it's supposed to.
If it's just a battery, can we swap it or recharge it?
No.
Can I take a little look at it?
Suzuha nodded and pointed to a piece at the core of the machine. Itaru leaned his huge body forward to take a look, but soon he gave out a moan of confusion.
What is this thing?
The battery was the same size as a car's, but it was the product of 2036's technology, and Itaru lived in the year 2010. There's probably no way he could understand it. From Itaru's perspective, it might as well have been a black box of unknown technology. A quick look wouldn't tell him anything about how it was built or how it would work. That was one reason why Suzuha had agreed to let him look at it.
I don't think you can do anything with 2010's technology. It's basically the same as a disposable battery. You can't charge it and you can't swap it out.
Can you replace it with a battery or generator from this time?
Suzuha shook her head helplessly.
I tried that a long time ago, but it didn't work. I asked Big Sis Rumi to get me a car battery, one of the big ones they use in trucks. I hooked it up and it didn't last a second.
What did you just say?
I tried a gas-powered generator and it didn't work either. Can't even imagine how much gasoline you'd need, and we can't fit that much gas inside the machine anyway. Sis Rumi went through a lot of trouble to get me one of the latest fuel cell batteries.
But even that wasn't good enough.
Future tech is amazing. All that power in something this small?
Sarah was staring in amazement at the futuristic battery.
If only we could use garbage as fuel like in that one science fiction movie. So, how long is it gonna last?
Probably 1 or 2 more jumps at most.
That's all?
And even while the machine's shut down, it's still calculating gravity fields and positional coordinates constantly. Even if we don't jump, the battery will eventually run out. We've got another 6 months of battery at most before we lose the ability to do an accurate jump. So that's all the time we have to save Kurosumaki-se.
Suzuha grabbed onto Utaru's back and took a deep breath. It was squishy, and it felt good.
What happens if the battery runs out and we can't control the machine? We lose control of the car black hole and are trapped beyond the event horizon for eternity.
Don't even say that stuff. It's bad luck.
Yeah, sorry. I wonder what it's like. I wonder if it's calm and quiet like this. It just stays that way for eternity. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad.
As she clung to her father's warm back, Suzuha started to feel very sleepy. If she let her guard down for a moment, she was sure to fall asleep. She'd been trained to fight on the battlefield. But this wasn't the battlefield, and she was exhausted from crying. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to let herself sleep once in a while. She sat down and held her knees like a child, then softly closed her eyes.
I see. So Suzuha's leaving before summer ends, no matter what Ocarine decides.
Just before she fell asleep, she thought she heard her father talking to himself.
This is truly paradise!
Maho's eyes were shining like a little girl's. Not many girls would look like that if you brought them to a place like this. I was the one who brought her here, but she seemed to have forgotten about me entirely. She was wandering down the narrow corridors where the computer parts were, as if in a daze. Then she came to a stop in front of one of them. Inside the shop were lots of little plastic bins filled with junk parts of all sizes. They'd been taken off of discarded PCs and appliances. Each of them was obviously dirty and lots of them were covered in dust.
What's this board do you think? It's got a beautiful pattern like a piece of art. It's made out of aluminum.
Oh, yeah?
What? An IFX-008 image sensor? I can't believe it. This belongs in a museum. What's it doing here?
Yeah?
Akihabara's even more amazing than I'd heard.
Watching the ecstasy on Maho's face creeped me out a little.
This is who Maho really is.
Kurisu spoke from inside my phone. Maho had said she wanted to go out with Kurisu today. And so I ended up going on a strange date with 2 girls at once. This might be another test of Amadeus' capabilities. I've been here a few times, but I've only ever seen one other person stare lovingly at computer parts like that.
I know, you're talking about Hashida, right?
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad for Maho, if you're comparing her to him. From what you said, he's an incredible pervert.
That's right, that was rude to Yajo. It was early afternoon on a Sunday. There was a reason I'd come with Maho to the computer parts shop. Dr. Leskin and Maho were headed back to America in a few days. She was leaving soon, so she wanted me to show her around Akihabara like I'd promised. That's what her messages said. So we met in front of the station in the morning and I asked her where she wanted to go. This was the result. By the way, our first stop was Yodobashi, and our second, Soft Map. I'd already taken her to a lot of used PC and retro PC shops tucked away in tiny alleys. You like these kinds of computer parts, Yajo?
It's not the parts, really. I just like building things. I used to make plastic models all the time when I was a kid. Did you make germanium radios and stuff? I burn myself soldering all the time. Me too. I guess everybody's the same way, aren't they?
Probably not everybody. Actually, I'd assume that it was a minority of people who soldered in their homes growing up.
Wow, I could stare at this stuff forever. Why didn't I come sooner, I wonder?
It felt like she was never going to leave unless I dragged her out. I finally managed to succeed in getting her away from the parts shop by telling her it was time to eat. We went out to the main road. This area was close to the station, so it was especially crowded. Thanks to the crowds of people waiting across the street, you couldn't even walk in a straight line. Now then, where to eat? My first idea was make Queen Yanyan, but after the way she reacted last time, it was probably best to avoid it. Still, Sampo wasn't a good choice for someone new to Akihabara. Gunsen? Or maybe Kitchen Jiro? Gogo Curry could work too. As he stood there thinking.
Oh,
Maho stopped moving in front of the arcade directly ahead of us. Evidently, she was looking at the crane games on the first floor.
can we take a little look inside?
They nodded. Maho walked up to the crane game and pressed her face against the glass like a little kid. Inside the glass were characters from At Channel memes, all in different sizes. Maybe Maho was a secret At Channeler like Kurisu? They were pretty close, so it was possible. I leaned over to Maho and whispered a magic spell into her ear. Nulpo.
Huh?
It just confused her.
What? What's a null? What?
Nothing, forget it. Kurisu was glaring cold daggers at me from inside the smartphone, but I decided to ignore it. Yajo, do you want that stuffed animal?
Yeah, it's cute, isn't it, Kurisu? Oh, Maho! What? Why do you look so flustered? It's nothing.
I'm a little surprised, honestly. You just said you like computer parts, so I figured your taste would be more boyish.
Okabe, you need to learn some tact. Say something romantic, like, the gap between my expectations and your reality is really cute.
Sorry.
It's fine, really. Actually, Kurisu had one of these stuffed animals in her bedroom.
Did she?
Huh? Maho!
Did she buy it off the internet or have it shipped to America?
Does it really matter?
I guess you can tell she's a secret At Channeler.
What's an At Channeler? Never heard of it.
Nulpo.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Even as part of Amadeus, she hadn't changed a bit. Yajo, did Kurisu ever tell you what kind of character this was?
No, I asked several times and she kept dodging the question.
I'm sure.
So I always kind of wondered. You know Okabe?
Well...
Okabe!
Chill ran down my spine as I heard the angry voice from the smartphone. I don't actually know.
I see.
Sheesh, defended your honor, Kurisu. You'd better be grateful.
Can I give it a try?
Maho took her wallet out of her pocket and put a 100 yen coin into the machine.
You move this arm back and forth to grab the stuffed animal, right?
Have you never done this before?
Maho only ever plays racing games. That's right.
Maho nodded and pushed the control button, managing to move the arm directly over her target. She smiled, satisfied.
It's simple. Now you just wait for the arm to automatically grab it, right?
Oh, well, normally, yeah. The arm went straight for the doll, but the angle was slightly off, and it didn't grab it right.
That doesn't make sense! What just happened?
That's what happens your first time. Maho gave it several more tries, but didn't seem to get the hang of it.
Ah!
She groaned and took her last 300 yen to the back of the arcade. She walked over to a game with a red and white two-tone Formula 1 car on the side of the cabinet. She slid inside, still angry. I remembered that one was a CG racing game based off of real circuits.
Okabe! Okabe!
What is it?
Now's your chance to show your manliness.
My manliness.
Get the stuffed animal that Maho couldn't, I mean.
Oh, I see. And then give it to Maho, was what she was trying to say. Manliness aside, after seeing how badly she wanted it, I did want to try and help her. I took some coins out of my pocket and checked how much money I was carrying. Okay, it's been a while, but let's try this. But honestly, I'm not very good at these games either. Even so, I was sure I could do better than Maho. May as well give it a try. I'm living for her expressions right now. And so, after trying several times, whether it was luck or skill, I managed to get the stuffed animal easier than I expected. Okay.
Nice.
I stuffed it into a bag and went back to the racing game Maho was playing. For some reason, there was a crowd of about 10 people around it.
Wow, who is that girl?
Don't ask me. Is she in elementary school? I can't believe how good she is. Think she'll set a new record? The crowd was whispering to one another. All of them seemed to be amazed. I made my way into the crowd and looked at the screen. The game Maho was playing was one of those where you had to clear each stage in a set time or else it would be game over. With each race, the course got more and more difficult, and she was placing first every time with ease. As the crowd watched in awe, she finally made it to the end of the last stage well ahead of the other racers, and she set a new record.
Phew.
She had a satisfied smile on her face as she looked at the flashy "Congratulations" graphic on the ending screen. Then she noticed the crowd around her and her body jerked. "Congratulations, you set the record for our store!" An arcade employee walked over to Maho and started to clap. Then the crowd started to clap as well.
Huh?
Maho's face went beet red. I should probably help her. I pushed my way through the crowd and grabbed her hand to pull her up. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never seen her this obedient before. We made our way through the hustle and bustle and finally got out of the arcade. Maho sighed in relief.
That was careless of me.
What was?
I got mad, and I got serious. I got mad, and I got serious.
Because of this, I handed her the bag with my prize in it.
What?
He opened the bag and took out the stuffed animal.
This. You got it?
I got lucky. You can have it as a present.
Really?
It won't do me any good.
Really? Okay, I'll take it then.
I'll hug the doll tight to her chest with the innocent smile of a child. Seeing how happy she was made me happy too.
After Kurisu died, her mom showed me a lot of these things that she'd left behind. But this was something Kurisu really loved. Her mom kept it in her own bedroom.
If you didn't know it was from an At Channel meme, it was actually pretty cute. I could see her keeping it as a memory of her daughter.
But after what happened to Kurisu's house, I'm sure it burned up too. Maho. So can I give this to her mom in America?
Of course. If you think she'll like it, that's what would be best.
Thanks.
Okay, what next? Any place you want to see? Though I guess you wouldn't be interested in anime or game stores.
Kurisu, I'm sorry, but can you leave me alone with Okabe for a little while? Maho, you finally decided to be honest with yourself. Okabe, don't screw this up.
Huh?
Good luck, Maho. Bye.
Yajo?
There's one more place I want to go.
Yeah? Where is it? Is this someplace you didn't want Kurisu knowing about?
You can guess where, right?
The smile was gone from Maho's face. She looked like she'd come to some kind of decision. And then I realized where she wanted to go.
Take me to the radio building.
The radio building. And she wanted me to take her there. I understood immediately. Because that was where Kurisu Makise had died. And I think that it is a pretty good place to cut it. This is just, I'm loving this. I know that I say that every time, but like, every episode just throws new turns, and I'm so jazzed to see where this goes. And I'm jazzed to see all the different endings, because there's so much in this that wasn't in the Steins Gate Zero anime. So I'm really interested in seeing what else there is, especially in pertinence to any other endings. But for now, thank you all so much for following my playthrough of Steins Gate Zero, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.